Hello everybody, Moarhammer here, and I've got another battle report for you. This is a 2,000 point battle with my Tzeentch demons against Sylvaneth, and it is the classic Sylvaneth competitive build, so it's a really tough game for me. But I was looking forward to it. It was really nice to play a really tough army, and it was a great opponent. So, I'll get straight into it right after the army breakdown. I've mentioned this before, guys, but just once more, I've got a new podcast out called Through the Realm Gate. It's on iTunes, it's on Podbean. Go and check it out, it's really good fun. We talk about narrative stuff, and we are soon going to be covering the new Khorne book and all the details about that. So that'll be really fun, so go and check it out. It's a good laugh. So my army is pretty much the same with a tiny little bit change. I've got my change host, at the head of which is the Lord of Change, who is awesome. He just does those things. He's got phantasmal weapons for extra rends to make sure I can really get through that. And I figured that would be really useful against Sylvaneth as well, so I was looking forward to hopefully getting into combat with his big things and showing them what rend does. Then I've got my general, Herald on Burning Chariot. He's got Demon Spark, and he's got the this time he's also got phantasmal weapons, giving that extra rend, so that is hopefully going to be really useful. Then I've got, and then his Demon Spark also gets some extra damage, so hopefully he could fly into one of the big monsters and just totally knock him down. Then I've got the Changeling, he just does his own annoying thing. Then I've got the Blue Scribes, he's going to be learning spells, he's going to be helping everybody else cast theirs, and just generally being a bit of a nuisance. Then I've got 2 units of 10 Horrors. These guys, obviously battle line, they help just run around and cast spells and shoot some stuff as well, and hopefully be annoying with this potential possibility of splitting. We've got 6 Screamers. These guys are going to be moving fast. I was planning on using these guys to kind of block up forests so he couldn't move through them. But also, they're quite useful against monsters because they have D3 damage against them. Then I've got a Burning Chariot. Again, these guys are great. They're fast, they're shooty, and they're battle line. What's not to like? And then I've got, I haven't actually got 3 Flamers. Instead I've got an Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch. So I'm trying him out instead. He's got similar shooting power, but it does give me a bigger summoning pool of 340 points. So I was quite looking forward to getting to grips with that. So this is what the deployment looks like. We are playing Blood and Glory. So it's the second mission from the Head General's Handbook, with the 4 objectives, one in each kind of quarter. And if you hold all of them at the end of battle round 3 or onwards, then you automatically win the game. Otherwise, whoever has the most at the end of the battle round 5 wins the game. My deployment is, so starting on the far left, I've got a Burning Chariot and then 10 Horrors. That bit of terrain there on is damned. I do end up using that a little bit, but I'll get to that. Then in the middle, on that bit of terrain, I've got a unit of 10 Horrors, my Exalted Flamer, and the Blue Scribes. Then to the right of that, I've got my Lord of Change behind like the 6 Screamers, kind of they're spread out. They were kind of used as a wall because he's put down that wood kind of in the middle on the right. I didn't want anything popping up there and running straight to my Lord of Change. And then just on the right of the Screamers, you can't quite see it, or you just about can, is my Herald on Burning Chariot. And he was kind of just going to run around the side and see what he could do. On his side, starting on the far left again, he's got a unit of 10 Dryads, holding that objective. Then he's got a unit of 5 Tree Revenants. I think they're Revenants. I can't tell the difference between the Tree Revenants and the Spite Revenants, but I think they're Tree Revenants. And then he's got Durthu, the big D himself, and he was going to be a bit scary. Then moving on to the right, the other side of the trees, I've got the Changeling. He was just sitting there going to do his own thing. Then he's got a Tree Lord Ancient on the far right, and they are also next to a unit of 5 Tree Revenants, and there's also a Branch Witch in there as well. He's got a unit of 6 Scythe Hunters and a unit of 6 Bow Hunters in the Wayward Passages, or whatever you call it, so they're ready to come on whenever he wanted. Alright, so that's just about it. In terms of artifacts, he didn't go for the classic super strong ones, so it wasn't totally horrifying, but he did have a 2-up save on his Tree Lord, and then I think he was unbinding extra with him as well. I can't remember exactly what he had, and then he had an Acorn of Ages on someone as well, so yeah, pretty good. Because I deployed first, because I've only got 1 drop and I won the roll-off. We've actually both got 1 drop armies, so that was interesting. But I won the roll, so I got to deploy first, so I got to go first. And I do some stuff. This is my hero phase. I swap around the Screamers for my Herald and Burning Chariot, and I swap around the Exalted Flamer for the Pink Horrors on the left-hand side. That's kind of what I did there. Then in the movement phase, I moved my screamers onto that wood to make sure they couldn't he couldn't come through that with anything. They got a 16-inch move, so they got plenty of space to go up, and I got an extra bit of move with doing the swapping and the change host. On the left-hand side, my Burning Chariot did sacrifice some wounds to the damn terrain, and then they both kind of move up to just within 18 inches of the Dryads. I was hoping both of my Flamers could then shoot them off. Other than that, I kind of just move stuff in. I do also summon a Herald of Tzeentch on foot. He's kind of in the middle there, just about by the pink horrors, by that column in the middle. And then I also moved my Changeling over towards Durthu. And I had a bit of a plan for that, but I'm not sure how well it would go. You'll see. So the shooting phase, my Flamers both shoot at the Dryads. I managed to ping 9 of them off. So I was fairly certain they couldn't pass the battle test there. So that was 1 unit out of the way, which is fantastic. Nothing else really happens in shooting. So I go into the charge phase. And I use some Destiny dice to get the Changeling into Durthu. So interesting point. Durthu's weapon currently has 6 damage, so if I manage to hit and wound with 2 of his attacks, because I can nick his weapon basically, I can kill him outright. That's kind of the plan. I actually managed to get 2 hits and 2 wounds through on him, and so he had two 5-up saves, and he passed them both. Boo! So yeah, that was a bit unfortunate, but doesn't matter. I gave it a go. It was high risk, high reward, and Durthu managed to quite easily just murder the Changeling, so there was that. Oh well, it was fun while it lasted. So we go into his turn, and he does some stuff. Durthu kind of pans around a little bit, not really sure what to do. He does bring up, using the Acorn of Ages, a tree, a forest, or wildwood forest in the middle there, and brings through 6 of the Scythe Hunters there. And the Tree Lord Ancient kind of just sits around the back. He was hoping to move some more stuff into where the Screamers were, but obviously that's why I put them there. In the shooting phase, his Tree Lord Ancient shoots at my Herald on foot and just shoots him straight off. No problem at all. So we go in, and that's basically the only thing he had. He had no more shooting. He'd failed his charges, which was very good for me. So we go into the initiative roll, and I do win it, which is very useful. Very good time to win it there. In terms of swapping, I swap over basically just the Lord of Change with my Screamers. I don't think I swapped over anything else because it wasn't really worth doing, so yeah, that was all I did. And that was just kind of to get my Lord of Change forward a little bit so we can get into combat, and the Screamers don't need to be that far. I was planning to plough them straight into the Tree Lord Ancient. I do cast some spells as well. I put a couple of wounds onto the Branch Witch, and I put about 5 or 6 wounds onto the Tree Lord Ancient, so he was now fairly damaged. And in the movement phase, I do this. My Lord of Change moves up towards the Tree Revenants. He's just going to try and make easy work of them. My Screamers pile on towards the Tree Lord Ancients. On the left-hand side, my Burning Chariot runs around the side of that objective, trying to try and help capture that. If I can shoot off those Tree Revenants, I will then capture that objective, so he'll have to get it back before he can capture it, which means that I'm hopefully going to be keeping Durthu away from my side of the board for at least a turn, which is very good for me. In the middle, I move my pink horrors forward, basically just to try and tie up the Scythe Hunters. If they wanted to come in and attack my pink horrors, fine. I'd throw some blue horrors at him, and then maybe some brimstone horrors if I needed to. So that's fine. I've still got 240 points of my summoning pool left or something, 220 points left of that. So plenty of points there to do what I wanted. I also moved my Herald on Burning Chariot into the Wildwoods because I thought I might as well. It's going to stop him coming. It's going to stop him using it, so that's good for me. In the shooting phase, both my Flamers shoot at the Tree Revenants and shoot them straight off, no problem, which is fantastic. So we're into the charge phase. I think I do use some Destiny dice to make sure my Screamers got in here. So they pile into the front of the Tree Lord Ancient, and then my Lord of Change also comes into these Tree Revenants, and hopefully he makes short work of them. I go on the Screamers first, as you might expect, and they managed to bring down the Tree Lord Ancient, which was fantastic. They were doing D3 damage per attack, 18 attacks, and he just failed 1 or 2 of his saves, and they bring him down because he only had a couple of wounds left, and that's fantastic for me. So I was really happy about that. Unfortunately, because I did go fairly close to the Scythe Hunters, they were able to pile in an attack as well, and they bring down 4 of the Screamers. It was brutal. But you know what, I'm not going to complain too much. Over here, my Lord of Change attacks the Tree Revenants, kills 3 of them. I totally fluffed my attacks, so that wasn't very good. But, you know what, it's alright, I can live with that. He's on a shaky battle shock test. Over here, he managed to kill 1 more Screamer. Then I had a I had a battle shock test to make, and on a 6, I lost the last Screamer, and that's exactly what happened. So that was a bit of a shame, because it would have been very useful to have that Screamer there to tie up the Kernoth Hunters. But, you know what, that's fine. Then we go into his turn, and he does some stuff. He brings his Bow Hunters through the woods at the back. They kind of just sit around there, and they were aiming at the Lord of Change. He did attack with his Tree Revenants and do 2 wounds to the Lord of Change, and then he cast Arcane Bolt at him as well. Got it through and did another 2 wounds, so he's on 4 wounds now, so that's not good. Other than that, he kind of moved some stuff around. He moved his Kernoth Hunters to try and get my Herald on Chariot, and Durthu also ignores the chariots over there, like was definitely the right move, and comes into the middle to try and take on some stuff there. In the shooting phase, the Kernoth Hunters shoot at my Lord of Change. Managed to put a couple of wounds onto him, but he fluffs his rolls fairly badly, so that was quite good. Then we go straight into the charge phase. Durthu charges the Pink Horrors, and his Kernoth Hunters make a double 1 for their charge. Which was very, very bad luck, but, you know, I'm fine with that. He attacks with Durthu first, unsurprisingly. Actually, no, I think he attacks with his Spite Revenants as Tree Revenants first and does nothing. So I pile him with my Horrors, and I put a wound on Durthu. Poor guy. And then he attacks me and wipes me all out without any problems whatsoever. So that was fun. Then I go with my Lord of Change, and I am able to kill the remaining 2 Tree Revenants, so that was fantastic. So he's free now to do what he wants. And that's the end of the phase, so I decide to use 50 points to bring in some Blue Horrors. Not only do they tie up Durthu, they tie up the Kernoth Hunters. So if he got the next turn, he at least wouldn't be able to do a whole lot of anything with them. So we go to the initiative roll-off, and he wins it there, which wasn't good. But that being said, he's only got a handful of units left. His Kernoth Hunters and Durthu were both tied up with the Blue Horrors. I love Horrors, they're so good. Other than that, his Kernoth Hunters kind of move back a bit. Then they take some pot shots at the Lord of Change again and take him off. Brutal. But, you know, that's okay. I can live with that. I'm in a fairly good position here in terms of the objective, and that's all I need to be, so great. In the combat phase, unsurprisingly, he kills the Blue Horrors without any problem. So we go into my turn, and I do some stuff. I actually realised I could have won the game here, but I decide not to just win the game because I'm just kind of still itching for a bit of a fight. If I flew with both the Blue Scribes and my Herald and Burning Chariot to the objective in the top right corner, I would have claimed all 4 objectives and won, as it's now battle round 3. But I didn't do that because I wanted a bit more of a fight. My General on the Burning Chariot fired up his Demon Spark, and he flies towards Durthu. A couple of spells get casted him as well, and I should put a handful of wounds, sort of 3 or 4 wounds onto him. I do end up shooting the Kernoth Hunters with my Flamers, and I do a couple of wounds to them. I end up killing two of the Scythe Hunters, I think, which is pretty good going. And then I do some charges. So my Burning Chariot and my Herald plough into Durthu. He's only got a couple of wounds left, I know, but I really wanted to kill him. And the bunch of Screamers here, there's a whole bunch of attacks with them, plus the extra attacks. Fingers crossed I could bring the guy down before he had his way with any of my models, because he does like to do that. I also charged the Branch Witch with my Blue Scribes, because I wanted to see what the Blue Scribes could do in combat, if I could poke him with my quills, that'd be good. So I attack first with my Herald and Burning Chariot, and because of the extra rend, because of all the attacks and the D3 damage, he runs over Durthu, which is fantastic. You know, this guy's actually really solid. He's very expensive for what you get, but actually I'm really enjoying using him. He's a bit of alright in combat. I like it. He's getting a tally up, so that's good for me. Unsurprisingly, I don't do anything with the Blue Scribes in the combat phase. We go to the initiative roll-off, and I win it, which is very good for me. I cast a bunch of spells with my horrors and my herald on the Burning Chariot. I summon another herald in on foot, and so all of them start casting spells at the scythe hunters, and they bring all of them but one down, and he's only got one wound left. So really good position there. Then with both my chariots, I fly over said Kurnoth Hunter and run him over. So I do D3 mortal wounds to him as I fly over, killing him, which is fantastic. And then my Burning Chariot shoots off the Branch Witch. Again, also good, because that means she's dead. And then I just charge straight into the Bow Hunters, because I might as well. I attack with my Burning Chariot first. Don't do a whole lot. He does a couple of wounds back to me. I think he does 2 or 3 wounds to the chariot, and then a wound to my herald. Herald attacks, doesn't do much, but because the Branch Witch died and my blue scribes was still on that objective, there you have it. That's the end of the game. I managed to claim all 4 objectives at the top of turn 4. And I think I was still in a fairly strong position. I was fighting bow hunters in combat, and I still had a fair amount on the board of mortal wounds I could start dishing out to people. So that was fantastic. And yeah, I really enjoyed that game. It's really, really difficult. He was a bit of a new player, so he wasn't quite sort of... he didn't quite utilise all the rules he maybe could have. So I expect we'll see this army again, and he'll be way tighter with it, and I'll probably lose horribly. But it was still a really good game. Really enjoyed it, and I was really pleased to manage to put down the Sylvaneth. It turns out that they do really suffer when there's lots of mortal wounds, because they just have nothing they can do about it. So my army's really good at putting out mortal wounds at distance, which is exactly what you need to take on this army. So that was really good. I probably shouldn't have done that thing with the changeling at the start, but in hindsight, he didn't really move. His army didn't really move much anyway, so the changeling wouldn't have been able to halve stuff. And I don't think I would have wanted to swap stuff over there too much. I don't know. I don't think he would have been particularly useful, but it is what it is. And it went well, I think. So, yeah. And again, I didn't use all my summoning pool, but I used nearly all of it, and it was fine. I think I'm still going to play around with the army just a little bit, but I definitely think I prefer the Exalted Flamer to Flamers at the moment, just because they're 80 points cheaper, and it's 80 points more of summoning, and now that I've got Blue Horrors and Brimstone Horrors coming out my ear holes, they're going to be really useful. So, yeah. Alright, well, thanks very much for watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Or otherwise, leave me a comment, and then you can follow me on Twitter at MoreWarGames. So, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again soon for another battle report.